As a business at Clear Channel, our purpose is all about being a platform for brands and a platform for good. And we're an infrastructure and a media business. We've got this beautiful virtuous circle of advertising revenue goes back into communities and then it regenerates. As a business, over the last couple of decades, we've managed to reduce our carbon footprint by 82%, but we've still got significant ways to go. Things that you see on the surface, like more recently we've rolled out some green initiatives, some green infrastructure with our living roofs and our vertical meadows.
Advertising obviously needs to be more sustainable. Committing to ad net zero is one of the initiatives that, as an industry, we should absolutely be supporting.
But also a lot of work going behind the scenes, so a lot we're doing in terms of the recycled, renewable energy, electricity we're using. The importance is on all of us.
We launched the carbon calculator at Mediatel, which looked to, at the time, offset the carbon emissions of a media plan. We're developing the next iteration of that calculator, which looks to actually reduce emissions, not just offset emissions, which is about partnering with suppliers and looking at the supply chain and how we can actively look to reduce emissions. Every team across our business, every client team across our business has a sustainability planning champion who is there to have active conversations with clients about the carbon calculator, but also talk about how we can bring a sustainability perspective to every brief.
Trust is also something the outdoor business has given us. Unlike audio, I think out of home had a really difficult pandemic. But again, some of the work that Clear Channel did, I thought was fantastic in terms of using their inventory to try and rebuild trust as we went through our various yings and yangs of lockdown.
I think that's going to become much more important for brands to think about not just what they're doing as a business from a sustainable perspective, but how they're communicating from a media perspective sustainably.
I also think that there's a lot more kind of conscious and responsible advertising that people are becoming much more aware of. You know, COP26 and all the rest of it, but everything that the work of the likes of kind of the Conscious Advertising Network, there's a lot of talk by people like Unilever about being really responsible by where they're funding their advertising and and what it's doing out there in the wild.
And we know the industry has got a lot of ground to make up there in keeping its own house in order, but also it can be a force for good in promoting positive social change. And I think that's what we need to see more of during the course of the year.
I think all of us as an industry need to be promoting more awareness around the impact that all of us have for our businesses, but then also trying to translate that into how we're actually using media and advertising to also demonstrate that.
We talked a lot about potentially a lack of trust in the industry. So I think there's a lot of effort to be done around building the trust and the transparency of the industry. So I think that's a key priority. And how do we work together to get to ad net zero?
I think the thing that's really going to break through this year is conscious advertising. I mean, you touched on it a second ago, and it needs to be, basically, for us to continue to sort of drive the industry forward.
I think what's important is that we're all driving change. So our commitment as a business is we will continue to support and look at new initiatives and new ways of doing things better. If we can do things in a better way, if it's right for people and right for the planet, then we should be. So yeah, expectations on all parties.